For the first time in a while, welcome back to Digital Shoptalk, episode 50. I think we took pretty much most of the summer off. A lot of big things internally happening at Location3. But either way, before we get into our annual predictions for 2019, just wanted to quickly recap some of the predictions, at least I had for last year. So I said personalization in digital and marketing in general is going to increase. I think that's certainly the case. One of our colleagues, Mariah, is going to touch on that in a bit, so I won't steal her thunder, but personalization is up. The other two I had, one was around influencers. So I had the belief that influencer marketing was going to kind of not take a nosedive, but wasn't going to be as prevalent. I was completely wrong in this regard. Kylie Jenner, I think, gets now $1 million per Instagram post. Cristiano Ronaldo gets $750,000. But more importantly, it's everyday people like you and me. That business is expanding. They're saying by 2022, it's expected to be up 40% from what it is now to a $10 billion.
I think you were right in the sense that you were like, it's going to take a turn. So you saw like the explosion of the macro.
Like everybody's doing it.
It's the micro influencers. It's the person that has a couple thousand followers and they're like, I can be an influencer. And you see them on your Instagram feed and you're like, yep. You know. And maybe it's working. And
there's metrics that like content that is actually more engaging from influencers in a larger percentage than the content brands put out. So
I believe that.
There's authenticity, I get it. So we'll see, but there's certainly a lot of money in influencer marketing and the content tied to it. So I wasn't exactly right last year. The last one was around my belief that digital consultancies are not going to kill the agency. I'm going to revise that a little bit. Consultancies are definitely encroaching on traditional agency business, but as you alluded to in your kind of LSA post and webinar this year, it's around agencies that aren't doing good work and are not developing good strategy. Those are the ones that are going to die and lose business to consultancies. So
I think the consultancies have always had the advantage is that they understand the business metrics first and then apply the marketing on top of that, which is where a lot of agencies fall short is, you know, I think WPP's chief came out and said, hey, we're going to be client-centric. Well, what were you before?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, but good news for the advertiser is that people are paying more attention and it's forcing the issue. My big prediction last year was that Facebook would enter the search space and become the second largest search agency. So I'm wrong on the fact that they are the second largest, but they have just re-entered the search space. So tested it in 2012, back this year. Makes too much sense for them not to. People are using it as a search engine. They'll continue to do so. Why not try to make some money off of it, which is their want to do. So with that being said, 2019, I feel like we say this every year, but so many things going on in the digital world. I think this past year we've seen an explosion in programmatic TV, programmatic radio, digital out of home, just people buying traditional media through digital means. So that's not even really a prediction, but that's just a trend that is going to continue. I have two predictions for this year. First is our old favorite, Bing, returns to relevancy. It's been somewhat the forgotten search engine, but the main reason is that Bing powers Alexa. Alexa is growing exponentially in terms of the voice search category. So if you are not engaged in Bing, you're missing out on a huge growing market. So I'm titling this Return of the Bing.
Bing is back.
Return of the Bing? No, Return of the Bing.
Right, okay.
It's a Hobbit reference. The other one is last year, right around this time, we were inundated with Google Home and Alexa Echo and all that kind of fun stuff. Hey Google, all that great commercials that we saw. This year, we're already seeing it. It's all about the monitor, the display. So you got the Google,
visual element.
The Google display, the Facebook portal, Alexa Show. So I don't even know what to call this. Is this voice search? Is it just search? Do we stop calling it? Putting it into buckets, and it's just life. It's
digital assistance.
It's just like ambient computing where you just talk and think out loud, and your devices talk to you back. Like I've said before, the fridge is the future. The fridge being the hub of the home. You're in the kitchen. You say, "Why do we always run out of toilet paper?" Next thing you knew, Google Home is saying, "Hey Alex, would you like me to order your double ply favorite?" And it's there the next day. So it's not voice search. It's not search. It's not the year of the mobile. This is just the year of everything listening to everything you do and proactively It's like proactive search. It's not even search.
In the best way.
I don't even know what it is.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't even know what it is, but it's there. It's happening right now.
All right. To that end, I'm going to shift a little bit more on the data side of things, right? So people are all doing this, all this activity. Who owns that data? And I think a big thing that we see in our business is there's one, a lack of transparency, especially in agency, brand relationships, vendor, partner relationships, where a lot of that control is still in the hands of that particular SaaS platform or that partner that you're using, that the brand is actually sacrificing some of the control and ownership and the ability to have a clear picture into that data and that performance. And let me be clear, I don't mean in the account and tinkering and making adjustments. That's why you partner with quality agencies and quality partners. But if you're using a technology or piece of technology like a SaaS, or you're hosting your website on somebody else's platform, that data is not necessarily yours. So if you disengage with that platform or that technology, your ability to harness that for the future, based on historical performance, goes away. The same goes for accounts, right? If you're not setting up, let's say Google, your own MCC, your own accounts with true access to that, you disengage with whoever's running those accounts, you could lose a lot of that historical data. And as we know, that's a huge lever to pull when it comes to optimizing.
So what's your prediction?
So I think there's an education curve that on the brand side, and more businesses are becoming aware of the fact that a lot of what they're doing in digital, the keys are being held by the partners that they're engaged with, if you will. So
prediction, more
centralization, because then the output of that, as we know, is the ability to do a little bit more focused attribution, right? So we hear a lot about attribution in 2018, as we have over the last couple of years. Right. A lot of that starts with having things less siloed, more centralized, and more under control. So I think that becomes a more growing trend, even though we've started to see it happen this year. You mentioned Facebook. The other thing I think about Facebook is, without getting into the politics of it and the issues they've had with data privacy, I think Facebook, what we've seen in just user growth, they're pretty stagnant on the Facebook platform. Instagram's certainly growing, which is to their benefit, but they kind of have to reimagine a little bit how they want to interact with users, because their strongest demographic right now is 55 plus. That's not where a lot of people are marketing to. As I said, people are, I think, a little bit more wary of the information they share with Facebook and what they get in return as a consumer, just in their everyday news feed, right? So we know boosted posts have failed to be a success in a lot of ways. So I don't know. For me, Facebook, I think it's a shift, not a rebrand, not a complete overhaul of what it is, but maybe a little bit more rethinking on the content they serve to users and how to get more of that younger audience back and more viable audience for advertisers in a lot of ways.
They probably just have to acquire the next platform. I don't think they can go back. I don't think they can get it organically. I don't think the youth of today are going to start re-engaging with Facebook.
Well, and I think transparency. Just earlier this week, there was a piece that that came out that even if you have all your location services off for apps within the Facebook app on your phone, if you are pinging Wi-Fi or they can access your IP, they're still tracking your location, right? Which is
track it all.
Track it all.
Track
but,
everything.
I think being transparent about how they do that and why they do that builds more confidence in users, and maybe people will start coming back to the platform versus leaving it the way they have this year, frankly. So, so that's my two: Facebook, and data ownership.
I like it. So I think the one thing that we can 100% be sure of is that a year from now, something will have happened in the next 12 months that we had no idea was coming.
Yep.
That's the only constant. Yeah. Death and change and taxes.
Let's kick it to some of the Location3 folks for their predictions, and we'll be right back.
Bing is going to be super hot in 2019, especially with LinkedIn data. I think the partnership between Microsoft and LinkedIn, or rather the Microsoft ownership of LinkedIn, will be huge. And I think LinkedIn advertising will also increase as a product of that.
Well, I think 2019, 2020, Facebook has done great things for marketers, but given the current climate, they're going to probably internally reevaluate the implications and ethics of data collection and what's available for marketers without necessarily affecting return on investment and other performance metrics. So, but in terms of what's going to be good for both their investors and for marketers, I think Facebook it's in their best interest to do so, and they will. So, happy New Year.
I think 2019 is going to be the year where we see personalization taken quite a few steps further. Everybody already shops this way. You can get shampoo and conditioner that is made specifically for your hair type, or get Stitch Fix, where clothes are picked out specifically for you, that I think both small and big companies are going to be marketing this way. So instead of having maybe 2 or 3 personas that people are really going after, there are a lot of tools you can use to reach, the 10 different customers that you might have. And so I think we'll see that across the board, whether it's social or search, and it's going to get a lot more specific because that's what everybody expects to see when they're on these platforms.
I'm Matt LaQuesta. I'm the Director of Earned and Owned here at Location3. And my predictions for 2019 in digital marketing are that Google are going to provide some sort of engagement with for individual business owners, similar to what we see with Google Search Console snapshot showing up in search results when you're signed in, or the way that they are supporting the WordPress plugin, the Site Kit, that has Google Analytics, Search Console, PageSpeed Insights, just in an effort to try to provide more information to local business owners so they're able to make a better experience for their visitors. I also think that this year Google Posts in bulk are going to come out for Google My Business. We don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure it'll happen this year. It'll probably be a paid thing, and hopefully when that happens, the post will be moved into a more prominent area, since a lot of people have been seeing decreased engagement since those posts have been moved below the knowledge panel. And this year, I think the technical SEOs and the EAT SEOs, EAT for EAT as in expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, are going to still continue their battle of where you should be focusing on your organic optimizations. But I think the big winners are going to be people that take the combined approach of looking at both the EAT side of things and the technical side of things. In the coming year, I think we're going to hear a lot more about ambient computing. The rise of voice search and the connected home and the Internet of Things, as these devices become more affordable and adoption rates are rising, I think we're going to start learning more about the ambient computing, about how we know our home devices are already thinking about things, they're listening to us all the time, and they're able to start helping us make better decisions or just make our lives a little bit easier. So ambient computing, if you don't know about it, it's coming this year.
Hey, so in 2018 we saw a lot of Google shifting interactivity into Google My Business profiles in terms of posting capabilities and Q&A. So in line with the ads they're also populating in those GMB listings, I think my main prediction would be that Google starts to make the search engine results more of a customer service experience, which would ultimately lead to more revenue, which we know is the ultimate goal.
Those were some great predictions. Love getting insights from our team here. Speaking of our team, awesome year at Location3. We've really fully embedded ourselves in the franchise space this year. Had an amazing event with Google, really focused on the franchise world and how all these things that we're talking about play out in the local space. And that is our mantra. Everything is local for us at Location3.
Absolutely.
Location. We're excited to see where things turn for 2019. But we can be sure of one thing: we're going to be on top of it. We're going to be in front of it, and we're going to make sure that we bring things to the table that bring our clients revenue and make our customers happy.
Absolutely. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Safe holiday season. We'll see you in 2019. Peace.